Make it clap, Jim.
Hello and welcome to the Ratnest podcast, season 2. I'm Matt Paramo. This is Jim Cox, and today we're talking with David Moses. Hey! What up, dude?
What's going on, gentlemen? Great to see you.
Great to see you too, man. You're looking good. Hopefully you've been healthy, staying healthy through everything.
Trying. Yeah, trying to get better.
Good. Yeah, last time I saw you when we were out in Raleigh, everything seemed to be flowing as well as it could during COVID. You know, you seem to be doing well. Everything's still kind of the ball rolling smoothly for you. What have you been up to?
Man, it's been wild. So thank you for having me back on. I am honored to be a repeat offender on Ratnest podcast.
Let's just say that real quick. David is the only person to appear multiple times, let alone this is his third appearance. That's right. David Moses comes at you in the Wild Wild West, if you're going back to the future terms. So, you know, we're going to get weird with it.
You know, and I would like to shout out to premiere episode in season 1.
Yeah, right? First episode that we published was with you, so thank you for being a part of Ratnest and
OG rodent there.
Sending me comics and being, you know, part of what I'm trying to do. So, you know, I appreciate you too, brother.
Man, it's an honor, honestly, because you know, you reached out to me and said, "Hey, I want to carry your comics," and I'm like, "Really?" So, you know, it goes both ways.
Does that not happen for you often? I don't know how this works on either end. I've never been hit up as an artist like, hey, let me get some stuff off you. I mean, few and far between, especially people I don't know. So do people come at you like this? Like, I came out pretty aggressively. I was like, hey man, let me carry some comics. I'll pay you. Like, let's do this thing.
Yeah. So, you know, when I hear most cartoonists talk about it, and my own experience is like, as a cartoonist, you sort of have to be a go-getter and chase people down to carry your stuff and make yourself known to people, to different outlets. So it was a pleasant and unexpected surprise when you were like, hey, I want to carry some of your stuff. I was like, oh, that's awesome. So you know, like I say, most cartoonists have to chase down the outlets, and it was nice to be chased down.
Dude, only for you. No, it was
talented guy.
I was gonna say it was an easy move, dude. Yeah. I saw the work you were doing. I saw you were doing stuff with people that I respected, and it just was kind of a no-brainer. And I don't know if I reached out the first email and said, let me carry your stuff, but definitely just tested the waters, see what was up. You seemed like you were into it, so it worked out great. We moved some of your comics, and you know what more? I mean, when we talk about this stuff, we talk about like it's a big deal. I'm talking like a handful of comics, a dozen comics. It's not 200 pieces I sold for you or anything, but it's just funny that the admiration on both ends of being like, part of this like deal with this dude that I don't know, but you know, it's like mutually beneficial.
Yeah, it's kind of, it has this like compounding effect, right? Because you know, you reach out, right, to somebody that you think is doing cool work, and like you guys, right, and to get the feedback and the reciprocation of that, it sort of like, you know, that's what the comics community or any community that you're part of does, right? It's that perpetuation that of the inspiration, if you will. You know, that mutual good feeling thing. It makes us want to work more in whatever we're doing, you know, and it's a really special thing. So you guys are part of creating a special this special environment. So,
you know, I really felt, thanks, you man. Very much for saying that. That means a lot. I really felt like that shined. I mean, at least to me, when we were out in Raleigh, you know, like he said, we didn't necessarily sell a lot at the pop-up, but the value that came from it, from so many Ratnest artists coming together and meeting each other, some for the first time, and hanging out and talking and forming collaborations and bonds and working with each other, that was valuable to us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's where I can accept what you just said, because I saw the sparks that were going on in that room. And like you said, there was different conversations going, and it was like artists were hopping from other artists, talking with each other. And it was this, this co-op, all of a sudden. It was beautiful.
And to bounce back on what Jim originally opened with, I don't know if that was before or after we did the intro, but you and Hank talking outside, and I was going from inside to outside and kind of seeing what was going on. I think I was filming and Jim was filming, and I came out to like, it looked like a rap battle, bro. Like it was like in the corner under this one like dingy light, and there was like 8 people around 2 people, and you guys are like, yeah, but then in the spawn and the max, and it was getting so deep on like both sides and just going back and forth. It was so funny just to hear the interaction of like how passionate you and Hank are about comics and artists.
No, it was
the first time that Hank and I got to like hang out in person, actually, which was awesome.
Hank's such a great guy.
Yeah, he's great. I love Hank.
No, that we had a really good time going out in Raleigh. We were actually just talking about this earlier at lunch. Like Raleigh was eye-opening for so many reasons. For me, I'm a local guy. I don't really like, I've traveled, but I don't like to travel places that I don't know people, And the fact that me and Matt were getting on an airplane for this podcast that was literally only in like episode 4 at the time, like we hadn't been doing much, to fly across the country and hang out with people I had no idea who they were, it put me out of my comfort zone. I'm not going to lie. And so going there and doing that, but then getting the immediate satisfaction basically of, oh no, what we did actually did work out. Like we may not have made a bunch of money, but look at what happened here. Like there's no denying the good that was done on that trip. And so looking back on it, it's just nothing but good memories.
Yeah, dude,
the whole time.
I don't want to harp on money about that trip at all. It was great. And it was a last minute thing in a city that we're not from, that was put together on literally the 10 days before we flew out there. So
I just say it because so often now the financial gains is what makes something successful. And that's not what made this successful. Like the success came in the people.
Hold on, but I'm going to strike that and reverse it, because I have to ask you about the financial gains and the success you guys had about kickstarting this comic you're doing. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So Bastards of the Cosmos, written by the great Shah Imami, who does the Wits End podcast. He asked me back in January or February to check out his script that he wrote. And I dug it, and he's like, well, do you want to do it? And I was like, you know what? At this point, I've got the space to do it. So let's do it. Awesome. And so we kind of had a plan, from the outset, to finish the book and then do a Kickstarter. And, I knew that we were going to hit the goal, because the goal was $800, right? Just so we could print a few copies and get them out to whoever, pledged. And I knew that was not going to be a problem. Well, it ended up happening in a day, which was wild.
Very nice.
But even $800, you can't guarantee that. Like, even if you know it's going to happen, you don't think it's going to happen like that. Like that's
exactly.
Thanks. Easy. Can I have $800? Yeah, sure. Cool.
It was wild, and in large part thanks to Danny from Holy Mountain, because he's a collector of like original art, and we had one tier that was like, okay, you can get the cover of the book, right, the original page, and he swiped that up pretty quick. So
well, so when you've got,
but what was really gratifying, I will say real quick, is that within, I don't know, maybe a week, we got to the place where even if he hadn't gotten that, we would have still made the goal. And so that was really cool.
That's really, very cool, man. That's got to be very vindicating, to kind of put yourself out there and knowing like, oh, we'll reach it, but then reaching it and exceeding it and making it even further than you could have, or thought you could have.
Was it the first time you did a Kickstarter, or have you done stuff in the past? Because I know you have a Patreon and like different levels of that. But as far as like kickstarting a project, whether whatever platform it was, is it the first time you like engaged in that?
It was the second time because the previous was it April or summertime? I think it was the previous April 2020. Yep. Because COVID was really starting to hit a stride. So we started it in March for Galactic Junk Squad, well, more like Family, issue 4, and Creatures of the Chaos Realm. So we launched it, and then the country started shutting down. And I had a conversation with Corey Cochran, who's a good friend of mine, a great cartoonist and zine maker. And he was kind of like my number one guy with helping with the campaign. And he was like, dude, should we pull the plug on this? And I'm like, let me ask Kickstarter for one more week, because of all this craziness. And they gave us an extra week to tack on there. And with that, we made our goal. So,
right on, dude. Right on.
Yeah. So that was a cool experience. And I knew that between, Shah has, like you guys, he has some really great interviews with some awesome, professionals and cartoonists of various stripes. And I knew that he was going to be able to bring in some people, and I had, people who would support and everything. And it was just a great showing by everybody who was interested, and so now it's like nerve-wracking of like, okay, well, is it garbage or is it good? Like, did I do my part enough so that people are going to actually enjoy this? Now that they, invested a little bit of faith into what we're doing, hopefully we can deliver on it. So, I mean, the book is done, so we will deliver the book. Hopefully we will deliver on the experience of the book. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm sure that's why you had no problem on your Kickstarter. Is you see a couple of names like that, and I'm sorry, I'm unfamiliar with the writer, but you see names like that you can trust, and you're gonna jump on it knowing, oh, this is gonna be up to the standard that I know has come out in the past, and that's something that comes with. I mean, it's a little bit of clout, you've earned yourself a little bit of a name, and not a little bit, you've earned yourself a name, and people respect it. And dude, that is like testament to what you're doing right there. The fact that you guys met your goal in a day, that's awesome. And like, congratulations. Don't skim that over. That's huge, bro.
Yeah. Thanks.
So say it again. What's the name of it? The title called?
Bastards of the Cosmos.
And what's the premise?
Okay. So, it's basically, the way I like to describe it is a, cosmic samurai Western revenge comic.
Cosmic Western samurai revenge comic.
Yeah, makes perfect sense to me.
All right.
There's a film from the 70s with Charles Bronson and Toshiro Mifune called Red Sun by Terrence Young. And that was the primary influence on Shah's writing of the script. There's tons of other influences, but like it's sort of like the mix between a spaghetti Western and a samurai film.
Okay, that makes sense.
And those worlds colliding is sort, and Jack Kirby, of course, like we very intentionally tried to infuse as much of like the mid to late 70s Jack Kirby, like when he returned to Marvel, as much of the feeling of that as we could muster. We tried to put that into the work, and it was a lot of fun. It was difficult because it's like, it's a sort of an oversized issue. It's 29 pages of story, and I had not made one issue of something that's that big, and so it was quite a commitment and a challenge. Excuse me, but it was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot, and I think it's good. I think Shah did a great job, and I hope I did a passable job. So
I'm sure it's great. I can't wait to be able to check it out, man.
Oh yeah, and
should be coming in October. We should be shipping out and then selling it on our stores and stuff.
Right on.
I gotta get asked too. It's like when you get asked to do these big jobs, how much time do you have to commit? I mean, how much do you say I'll have this to you in next season? Like, is it like 6 months? Is it like 29 pages might not seem like an overwhelming number, but anyone that's sat down and drawn and inked and storyboarded and done,
a single page can take days.
I mean, it just depends on how long it takes you. Yeah. It can take time and your hand hurts and life gets in the way. You have a family. It's how much time do you give someone if you take on a project like this?
So I sort of like averaged it out of with like 2 or 3 pages a week, which I was able to hit that pretty regularly. But I started I think I started page 1 in April, and then I finished it in June or July, which was kind of right in line with what I had projected for him. I mean, I had it up on my calendar of like this is when I want to have it finished, you know. And so I worked really hard to have it done by that time, and it worked out. So you know, we knew we wanted to kickstart in like August timeframe. So that was my goal, to get that done. And, you know, like, yeah, like you're right. There's a lot of other commitments going on, you know, family and, you know, at the time, my wife and I are both freelancers. So we have to take whatever pays, right? We have to take whatever gigs, you know, present themselves and are worth it. And this ended up, you know, hitting the right patch of time, which, you know, looking back on it, you can see like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Like this was sort of like you know, this was supposed to happen at this time, you know, but when things are happening, you can't really gauge that, you know, you can't really predict whether that's the case or not. And it just turned out to be that, because, you know, I'm getting into details here, but like, you know, there was this project and I knew about a project in the fall that was going to be coming up. And then there was another potential project that could have been really big. But I didn't know where that one was going to go. And so I just said, let's take the plunge. And I'm really glad it worked out that way. So.
Yeah. Right on, man. Those are usually the most fulfilling kind of endeavors when you have to question it, or you don't have to, but you end up questioning it, and you have to wonder, did I or didn't I? And then you eventually get that like validation, and it's great.
Yeah, if you're questioning it, it's probably a good idea. Well, even if you say no to it, it's worth, you know, wondering about. And when they work out, it's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So besides working on this comic, are you working on anything as far as the either Galactic Junk Squad like series goes, or any other projects you have going on right now?
So I have been for a couple of months, I'm sad to say. I am working very slowly on the next issue of Tales from the Holy Mountain. Okay. At the script stage right now. I'm also working on commissions for the different tiers of rewards for Bastards of the Cosmos. And I had a couple of pinups and anthology stories that I was asked to be a part of. And so I've done most of those. I've got 1 or 2 more to do. So just trying to stay busy. Staying very busy.
Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome. Yeah.
I have to say, the Tales from the Holy Mountain that we have here, everybody,
go check it out.
It's great. It's available on Ratnest. I don't necessarily want to say it's a fun read, but it's an enjoyable read. Like the story, the writing is good. The illustrations and the visuals are great. Like, even for being black and white, I love when a black and white comic can pop, you know what I mean? And still catch your eye just like a color would. and it does that in every fucking page. It's good. It reads like a story too. You know, it's very easy to see. You know, from page to page, or from what am I trying to say? From slide to slide, basically panel to panel. Yeah, you really do see the story progressing, and it's well done, bro. Well done.
But
thank you.
Get a chance, check it out.
Also, I'm gonna add to that on the second issue, you jumped it up, like you bumped it up a notch. I feel like from the first issue, and you took it a little bit further in a direction. And I don't know, it's awesome, dude. It's like it's fun. The people that follow Holy Mountain and are, you know, a part of what they're doing with toys, hardcore, collectible, all this stuff. I don't know. It's a perfect fit.
When you get to center pages like this that are like full blown scenes, that's fun. That's fun to in the middle. It's almost like an intermission,
That's a fun
bro.
one.
You get to you stop in the middle and you just kind of I just spaced out for a while, like, oh fuck, look at that guy over there.
I was like, Jim, what are you doing? He was like, dude, this centerpiece.
I'm just staring at this.
Fucking centerfold's got me, baby.
That is the goal, man. Thank you. Because you know, of course, I'm taking a lot of inspiration from Kirby in that, right? Because like he has these ridiculous double page splashes, you know, all the time. And what I love about him is that you have to pay attention, right? You can't take it all in with one glance like you can with a lot of panels or even pages in some senses. You have to follow the story, the sequence. Okay, what's happening here? And so I tried really hard to capture, you know, what he does with that, and tell a story on multiple levels. You know, there's like a mid ground, there's a foreground and a background story all happening, you know, in different ways, and then you've got the narration, you know, the captions and stuff like that. And it's a really fun exercise to sort of like try and tell a story that way. And these books are wild because Danny lets me do basically whatever I want to. And so I try to like go like full throttle, Guy Fieri full throttle on each issue, right? And so then it's like, okay, well, you want to do another one? And I'm like, oh shit, what do I just like blew the tires out. Now I've got to get bigger tires, right? I've got to go further. I've got to go harder on this story, you know, because I've got to outdo myself, you know, which is always a fun challenge for yourself to pull more out of yourself, you know. So I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to do for the next one, is just make it even crazier. So
well, let me be clear. When I said, I didn't mean it wasn't a fun read. It was, but it's a horror comic, so it's weird to call a horror comic like fun to read. But literally, I had a smile on my face. You know, I want to make it clear that that was not derogatory in any way.
No.
It's not a downer.
No, the term fun just didn't fit the story and, you know, what my eyes were taking in. But it was very enjoyable.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot, actually. Thank you very much.
I'm looking forward to the next one for sure.
Yeah, it's been a cool like progression to see that, because when we first started talking a little over a year ago, you had just done the first issue for Holy Mountain, and that was kind of my introduction, as well as the couple comics that you had sent me alongside with that, Galactic Junk Squad and Frontier, and to see the progression between the first one and this one was just, I don't know. Like I said, you bumped it up. It's a cool series, and I wanted to ask you, so we touched on a little bit that you were just popped into the shop and said you liked what they were doing, but how did you get involved with those guys? That was it. You just, hey, what's up? And now you're doing commercials and stuff for them. They're pushing your books out with, you know, their orders. How is this relationship growing? Like what can we expect? When is going to be like the super collab of Holy Mountain, David Moses, you know, $300, vinyl toy or something, you know?
Oh gosh. It was so simple, the way that it started out. I was just like, I want to meet these dudes and I want to bring them something, you know, just to show appreciation, you know, because they the first time I heard about them was when they released a Zayo record back in 2016. I was a big fan of Zayo in high school, and it was cool to see them still going. And Holy Mountain basically revived their career with releasing that record. And so I was like, these guys must be pretty cool, to be working with Zayo and to have their trust, and then to put out this ridiculous record. It's an incredible record, and the art on it is phenomenal. It's by a guy named Matt Curley, who is also a friend of Danny's from Holy Mountain. He's a tattoo.
He's a tattoo Matitude on Instagram. Yes. He tattooed in San Diego for several years, so I'm very familiar. I tried to get a tooth by him and just never could get the proper time lined up. But amazing artist. Go check out Matitude. We'll put the link in. Go on. Sorry, dude.
No, that's great, because he deserves a lot of credit for
fucking
for
killer
the work that he does, man. He's outstanding. Man, I was just like, I was on a lunch break, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna take my comics.
What job are you working when you're deciding this? What are you doing when you think I'm gonna go to Holy Mountain?
So I was writing proposals for a utility services company.
I don't even know what that means, bro.
9-to-5 office job. My background, my degree in college was in English and marketing, and this was sort of, I'd been in the service industry for 12 years, out of college basically, and so I was just kind of floating along and nothing related to what I went to school for. And then I get this job, and I'm doing it. I'm trying my best. I realized during this job, which was a wonderful, stable job, that that's not enough for me. Like, I have to create, right? Mm-hmm. I have to have something, a job or some sort of career that engages my creativity, or else I will dry up like a husk. And that's kind of the point that I was at when I went by Holy Mountain. I was like, I'm appreciative of this job, but it is also drudgery, and it's killing me. And so I was like, any kind of connection I could make with them, I would be happy with. Just even if it was like, hey, here's some comics you guys enjoy. It's great to meet you. I love what you're doing. Thanks. But they engaged me, as much or more as I engaged them when I went over there. And, they were like, you do this stuff? You're a cartoonist and you live, locally? And I'm like, yeah. And Danny was just like, well, give me a bunch of your comics. I'll, sell them on my store. Here's some money. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, okay, great. Awesome. So I'll come by and drop them off tomorrow. And then after the Kickstarter for issue 4 and Creatures of the Chaos Realm, I took those by just to be like, hey, I put something else out. I hope you guys enjoy it, right? And Danny, again, he was like, give me 10 or something like that. And I'm like, great. So when I delivered those comics, he was like, we should do a project together. And I was like secretly praying for that kind of opportunity with them.
Yeah.
Any kind of connection with supporting what they're doing and just being a part of, they've got such a great reputation, but also they as I've gotten to know Danny, he's become a good friend, right? We went up to a small Comic-Con together. He just rode with me and hung out, and we had a great time. And he's a genuinely good dude who has these, it just so happens that his interests converge with a lot of other folks, and so he does what he's interested in. and people respond to it, and I think it's beyond merely what he's interested in that people respond to. They respond to somebody who does something that they're interested in.
It's the passion. Yeah. It's exactly. It's like, it's the passion. No matter what artistic, creative field you're in, if you're so psyched on what you're doing, not about yourself, not like psyched on yourself, but psyched about what you're doing, it shines through so heavy, right? Like,
well, and if you're good at it, real recognize real. You know what I mean? And so if you're doing something and you know that you're good at it, and someone else comes along and you're like, oh shit, I respect that. You're going to go you're not going to pay as much attention to the guys that aren't on the level, but you meet someone on the level that you are on, you're going to jump at that. And I think really what you explained is kind of the artist duality, or almost the creative's curse, because you not only have to be honing your craft at every point, you not only have to be practicing every day, working to get submissions, doing all of these things, you also have to take that leap of faith. You also have to just walk into the store and say, you know what, I don't care, like rejection is rejection, and I'll take that whipping if that's all it is. Or you're going to just walk in with just a hope and a prayer, basically, and not even a realistic hope in your mind at that point. You were just going to say, hey, check these things out. And lo and behold, it was the guy that recognizes a good artist. And had you not honed your craft before going in there, he could have very easily shoved you to the side. But because you took the time on yourself and created, and then also had the confidence in yourself to say, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to do this. I guess what the point I'm getting at is, as artists, you never know when that life-changing moment's going to happen. When you decide on a lunch break to walk into this random comic book shop, and all of a sudden your life changes because that one person accepted it, or because now you got some reciprocation.
And it's also not even overnight. It's a trajectory.
The trajectory changes in that moment, for sure. Yeah.
The trajectory comes through, and you go right instead of left. It's really crazy. It's very scientific. I'll explain it later.
Good. I'm glad that you're a science guy.
Yeah, now I am.
think that's the book of the Bible or something. Trajectory or something.
Yeah. Now we hold up these snakes to trajectory, and they will not bite us, and they will not give us the venom.
But no, it's really cool I love hearing stories where someone just kind of, you know what, I just had a feeling, or one day I was fed up, and so I did this, and it just works out. I love hearing that, and that's such a cool story to have.
Yeah, it's I'm just incredibly grateful, And even if it didn't result in an opportunity, but I got to meet Danny, and become friends with him and Joel and Olivia and the other Olivia. And then, what's really awesome to me is, they were like, hey, do you want to work for us? We need some people. And I'm like, if I wasn't doing what I want to be doing, I would totally work with you guys. Right. And I was like, but let me recommend somebody. And I shot them Hank's info because, I knew that is like a perfect convergence, right?
Oh, yeah. I didn't know how much you want to talk about it or how official it was, but I wanted to just say that that's crazy that you're just getting motherfuckers jobs.
So awesome, dude.
From the time of that Raleigh art show, I know that Hank and I think Brian too have been working for Holy Mountain. And I'm like, these guys, these little comic book guys are working for us.
It's like we said, man, the beauty of that connection was not it was in the connections that were made that day.
Yeah, it was so much fun, man. And that's just kind of like part of it is like all this positivity and, opportunity streams from these meetups.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and beyond that too, like someone like yourself that's focused on, I guess, selflessness. You're a very selfless person, as far as I can tell, as knowing you. And that stuff really shows when you're willing to say, rather than take on an extra load and be so fucking narcissistic, saying that I can do everything. You're saying, no, I know my load. I know that you want something good. Go to this guy.
I'd love to work there, but I'm going to say no.
And, knowing that you're basically giving up money by not working with doing a job, but passing that off to somebody else, or even if it's not money, it's notoriety or getting your name out, and you're willing to just pass that on to a friend, somebody that you may have only met or chat with a dozen times. You pass that along. That comes from a genuine place. And I think that's where good karma comes in. You know what I mean? And you can't help but admire that kind of behavior when you're willing to pass things on. And I'm talking a little bit further, probably something that hasn't been mentioned, but I see on your Instagram, like, you're one of the most empathetic and sympathetic people when it comes to causes. You can really, it seems like you really are able to hear the cries, you know what I mean? Or hear the problem that's going on and really empathize with it. And that's a great trait to have. And that shows in this very situation where you're like, you know what, Holy Mountain, I can't work with you, but check this guy out, do this. And you're just spreading the love. It's great, man.
Yeah, thank
yeah, there was no question there. Just
that was just a 20-minute rant of how much we love you, dude. Thank you for being a friend of the podcast and being our first episode, and now our 25th or some shit. Episode. Who knows? We got a bunch under our belt now. We're going, baby.
And you keep getting better, which is amazing too. I mean, you started off.
Stop.
Yeah. What am I gonna say?
No, we're not getting better. We're getting drunker.
Yeah.
No,
you're more practiced while you're drunk, you know. So,
well, you remember the first episode we did, man. We were scatterbrained,
very nervous.
We had no idea. It took us 2 hours to do a 45-minute episode, I think, or an hour and 45 minutes, because we had issues with the computer and we were messing up and we were running around during it, editing it out.
We got pretty dialed now, yeah.
Yeah, we've done a lot since then, so I appreciate you sticking through with us and not turning your back on us.
That makes me want to ask you a question, though. Have you ever had a public speaking incident where you just shit the bed?
I have. Yeah, I've had ones where I've tried to make it funny and it just does not.
Oh, that's the worst.
Just like bombing, like you're a stand-up.
I gave a best man speech that was awful.
Tell me more. Can you tell me more?
That story.
It's too painful.
That's that bad.
I did I'm so sorry. Thankfully, we're still friends. I mean, we're still good friends. Like, this is my dude, right? And but I did not prepare properly. I thought I would be able to wing it and speak from the heart, but it was just like, I got up there and cracked a joke and it was like,
yeah.
Oh man, I'm crashing and burning.
And at that moment, when the joke doesn't land, it's like, oh shit, I can't go this from the heart. Like now I have no idea, no words in my heart anymore.
And not that makes any difference what the timeline was, but were you like 21 or was this like last year?
This was 2000 and was it 6?
Okay. Yeah.
So you were a younger man.
Yeah.
I was like 22, 20.
Oh yeah.
22.
That hurts.
That's when you have the most confidence. That's when you think everything you say lands. You're like, oh, this is going to slay at this.
Yeah. Those are the weddings you go envisioning, like your speech is going to get you laid by 3 bridesmaids.
They're standing ovation. Like everyone's going to be like, yeah,
oh
dude,
God, the bride's crying, all of that. And then you walk up there and you end up with a joke that doesn't land.
I love it.
And an embarrassing story on a podcast.
I love it.
Yep.
Do you remember what you said?
Yes, but it wouldn't even make sense.
I love it.
I can't relive that intimately.
I'm digging, dude. We said we were going to get philosophical in the messages earlier, so we're just getting weird. It doesn't all have to be about art, right? Life is art, guys. Art is life.
Life is art, man.
We're just trying to get David Moses to expose himself. That's all.
Yeah, we're just projecting on ourselves as what we want to be and who we want to be. Wait. Yep. All right.
Yep.
I'm gonna get another beer. You guys.
Have you guys had those experiences? Because I'm not the only one that's in this conversation here.
So for me, the worst, when he asked that, I was like, oh, fuck, I know it's coming back to me eventually. So for me, the worst one that I can recall was when I was doing hip hop. And I was on stage by myself, mic in my hand, and literally like a DJ that I didn't know, a house DJ that I just gave my phone to that had a playlist on it of like MP3s that he was supposed to mix and, you know, pull through the MP3s. He started a track and I'm like, all right, in the beat. Then he scratches really quick to it and comes back in a half a measure behind where it should have been. And so I hear I'm on the beat and it comes in a half a measure early and I'm like, oh, I'm completely off now. So now I'm stumbling on my words and I'm not able to catch it. I had been drinking, obviously, and this was the first song of my set.
Where were you at? Was it a tough crowd?
I mean, the crowd was probably like 10 people, but okay. it was 10 strangers. You know what I mean? People.
Yeah, it wasn't us.
And I
don't remember this.
Like, and it was a Grimm show out in LA. I'm not even gonna say the place because I don't want anybody to go find this. But I literally got about halfway through the first verse and had to turn around like, "Hey, cut the beat. I got to start this shit over. I caught it wrong," and it was like crickets in the audience when he had to do it. It was one of the most embarrassing, like, and I had to turn around and then face these 10 or 12 strangers that had just went like, ooh.
Oh man.
And then just start again. Luckily, it was only a 15-minute set. So by the time I was done with my third or fourth song, I don't remember how many it was, like I had gotten them back into it. And in between songs, I was like, all right, you see why I wanted to start over? Like I wanted to give you the whole thing, you know, started gloating and got the crowd back into it. How like you have to be a fucking pompous asshole on stage for some reason.
Okay, well, that's pretty good. I'll one up both you guys, but kind of combine you.
All right.
Okay.
At my own wedding.
Oh yes.
Everyone has their parts worked out. I know what parts are happening throughout the day. The coordinator and DJ never specifically said I was going to make a speech. They said like, if you want the mic, you make a speech, whatever. But there was no like time slot that I was aware that I needed to prepare for a speech. And right before dinner, as everyone's coming in through cocktail hour, and I had a pretty decent sized wedding. There's a lot of family and people there.
Beautiful wedding. Beautiful.
And they're like, here you go, dude. Time to make your speech. And just handed me a mic. And I lost it. I did not know what I was going to say. And dude, when you get in front of 200, not even maybe strangers, I could have got through it, but just people you know. So you feel like extra judgment. You're like
people who changed your diaper.
No, it's heavy, dude. I'm like, all of you are my aunts. That's how I started it. No, it was wild, dude. And I didn't know what to say. And I was like, luckily me and Nicole met when we were young. And that was like a point. Like, I don't know what I was trying to.
He thought that was going to land.
I was like, is that going over with anyone? No.
Like, all right, point. Okay, no? Continue.
Okay. And we've been together since then. Again, we're lucky. Just looking around for any type of like.
I remember this
confirmation.
I remember this speech ending with a pause and a look around and like I don't know.
I was like, here you go. I handed it to the DJ. So when you think about your friend's wedding, just be thankful it wasn't yours, man, because I still have nightmares about that shit. And they're like, no, it was fine. When everyone's saying it's fine, it's not fine. They're like, no, it was fine.
Yeah.
It's bad.
We need to turn that into a comic, just a short story comic right there.
Really bad wedding speeches.
The worst wedding speech ever.
Yes. That would be very funny. You know who I could see doing that, and doing it pretty quickly is Brian Judge.
His stuff's great, man.
Yeah, shout out Brian Judge. We just printed his comic that he just received yesterday. So it'll be hitting shelves by the time you listen to this. Go check out One and Only Comics on Instagram and Brian Judge. Just type it in, Brian Judge Cartoons.
Yeah, he was heavily involved in that long conversation outside the Raleigh bar
and inside. I think.
inside too.
I think he asked me if I could beat up Steven Spielberg. He was like, "Who do you think would win in a fight?" And I was like,
I think he did.
I don't know, maybe Spielberg. I don't know.
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, the director.
Okay.
I mean, he's getting up there in age. You could probably.
I was thinking Steven Seagal, and I'm like, "There's Steven Seagal."
Well, Seagal now. Have you seen Seagal now as the Florida cop? Yeah.
He can still kick your ass, bro.
Dude, he's eating carrots for fun. I don't know.
He still kick your ass, bro. That's Steven Seagal. He'll just do a roundhouse kick really quick and like whap. You won't even see it coming.
I'd be like, "Bye, y'all. See you, Seagal." Back kick, bow. Fucking nail him, dude. Seagal ain't got nothing on me.
I love it.
Look, next speech you make, you just have to say that whole part about beating up Steven Seagal.
You get everyone's respect right immediately.
Everyone just stands up. They're like slow clapping for me. They're like, fucking, yeah, dude, you did it, Seagal.
Yeah. Let me tell you about the time where I beat up Steven Seagal.
Turns out it was Steven Spielberg, but still.
Big lawsuit. It was a heavy one.
David, this has been awesome, dude. We're just coming up on time. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you coming back, making time for us, and walking us through what you've been doing, dude.
Thank you guys.
I mean, we didn't really touch on the comic. Fucking Bastards of the Cosmos. It's
coming soon.
It's a cosmic Western sci-fi samurai. Let's go, baby.
Yep. So, it will be probably in hand in late September, early October. I'm gonna mail out all the commissions and all the, all the pledges first. And then I'll put it up in my store, and we'll make it happen from there. So
sick,
awesome,
coming soon.
Anything else you want to promote, or you want to give where people can find your stuff and check out what you've been doing? Anyone you've been working with that you want to promote?
So let's see. Some of the things I can't talk about yet because they haven't been announced.
Don't say anything I have to beep out for like 3 seconds or 4 seconds of time.
This sounds real bad.
It's real bad. We can talk about beep.
So I have a pinup in a Hyena Hell book that's coming out pretty soon.
Awesome.
Which is great. I love her stuff. Her stuff is amazing. And then Gratitude fanzine. I've got a little piece in the next one that's coming up soon. Shout out to AJ. And then Strangers fanzine is always great. Mm-hmm. You guys are always great, doing amazing stuff. Thanks, shout out to Shah Imami and Wits End Podcast, which is definitely worth checking out. Great podcaster, great writer, cool dude. And shout out to Jim Cox and Matt Paramo.
Hey, thanks, man. And just to come,
shout out David Moses.
Just to come full circle one more time. The newest issue of Strangers, you did the Charles Glabitz interview, right? So that's rat on rat action. So
it's a Rat King.
Everyone really go check out Strangers fanzine coming out this month. Yeah. It's gonna be sick.
It is gonna be sick. Yep.
Well, we love you, bro. Thank you for all your continued support and all the love that you give us. It's all comes right back. It's mirrored. It's in nth degree coming from us, bro. We love what you're doing. Keep it up. Don't ever quit, and don't ever let anybody tell you that you ain't a rodent.
Ratnest for life.
Yeah, hell yeah,
that's
dude.
Right.
Whatever you need, the Nest got you.
It's good to be from the brood.
Yeah, that's right.
Hell yeah, dude.
Thank you, gentlemen. Love y'all.
Love you too, bro. Appreciate you. Thank you for spending time with us. And
come back out here soon. Okay.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, you gotta come back out. Find an excuse to visit your brother.
No reason not to.
Let's go. I'm actually riding my bike through North Carolina in a couple months, so I should be out there. Virginia to Myrtle Beach, baby. Let's go.
Excellent. Yep. Hit me up, bro.
I will.
Crazy ass.
I'll holla.
All right, gentlemen.
Great seeing you, bro.
Thank
you so much.
Are you sure anything else we didn't hit on? Do you want us to cut anything out? This is the end of the episode at this point, right?
Take us out. We'll talk to him after.
All right. Hey, this has been the Ratnest podcast. You can catch us every week on Apple, Google, Spotify, and for the videos, YouTube at Ratnest Podcast. If you want to check out the zines, comics, or stickers you hear about, go to ratneststickerco.com. This has been David Moses and Jim.
Hi, I'm Jim.
And we'll cut it right there.